Thanks for tuning in to the Thumb Strong podcast. If you could, please like and subscribe to help us reach more people and help them get started in their fitness journey. Thanks and enjoy the episode. All right. Welcome back to another episode of the Thumb Strong podcast. Today, due to a request, we were talking after class this week with a bunch of people in Fit Camp about energy drinks and caffeine intake, specifically with kids in school, mostly middle schoolers and high schoolers, so kind of like that 13 to 18 age range. There's actually one participant that said that there was Celsius actually stocked in the vending machines at the high school. So clearly there's not a whole lot of education around.
There was Kickstarts when I was there too.
Yeah,
Kickstarts,
the Mountain Dew Kickstarts. Yeah. So obviously there's not a whole lot of education around caffeine intake, energy drinks in kids. So that's what we want to talk about because it's not good. It's pretty disturbing when there's Celsius, which is like 200 milligrams of caffeine, stocked at a school for kids under 18 when if you go to the party store, you're actually supposed to be 18 or older to even buy one of those. Mm. And here it is stocked in a vending machine at a school with 13-year-old kids. So I think it's becoming a little bit of a problem. I've noticed a lot of kids that even come to the gym to work out between that 15 and 18 age range, always drink an energy drink before a workout. So we want to educate people on caffeine intake, its effects, the side effects of it, specifically with kids, but also with adults. We'll kind of give some recommendations on as well. So we'll kick it off with maybe some information about caffeine and just kind of give an overview of it.
Well, first we'll go over what the research recommends as far as the recommended daily limit. So for children under 12, 0 milligrams a day. Avoid it entirely. 13 to 17 years, under 100 milligrams a day, which would be like 1 small coffee or 2 cans of soda. Yeah. And 18 or over, your adults, at or under 400 milligrams a day, so 3 to 4 cups of coffee, 5 to 6 teas, 2 energy drinks, depending on the energy drink.
And these are max recommendations. Most studies show no caffeine is actually recommended, right? So this would be more like if you are going to drink caffeine. I mean, didn't you just say that before we started?
What's that? That
there is no recommended amount of caffeine.
That was for the kids.
Oh, okay.
Or you mentioned something before, there's no scientific finding of a safe limit.
There's technically 80 milligrams is safe for if adults were to consume 80 milligrams a day. Your body is able to clear that out. Yeah. But you would still want to alternate days to avoid dependency.
Right.
So you do get a good brain boost and everything from it. So there are benefits obviously of caffeine. Otherwise we wouldn't drink it if there weren't any benefits. But you got to be very careful with it. Yeah. To one, not become dependent on it, whereas you have to have caffeine to get to your baseline. And then 2, having it so that it's not just impacting your brain and everything like that too.
Yeah.
But also, a big part of it is that caffeine's been around for a while. And obviously it started with coffee and tea. Coffee and tea have been around for, I don't know how many years, lots of years.
Yeah.
But just recently has been the kick in energy drinks and pre-workout and things like that. Yeah. So it's mostly new if you think about it.
Well, yeah, and I've really watched it blow up. So when I was in school, middle school and high school, it would be very rare for me and my buddies to go into a party store and buy a Monster. That was crazy, to do that. And that was 140 milligrams of caffeine. And then when I started working at GNC in college, that's where Bangs were actually released in GNC and supplement stores before they were ever in a party store. So Bangs were around for probably at least 2 or 3 years before they hit every party store. And I think Coca-Cola bought them, and that's why. So I'm pretty sure Coca-Cola owns Bang. You have to double check to make sure. But but those are 300 milligrams. And I remember working at GNC, and you drank one of those, and you felt like you were gonna, run a marathon.
Yeah.
And it was insane how much it did. And now I'm seeing kids that are 16 drink one every day, every single morning, and it's like, how is your heart not exploding? But and I was working out at the time. I've taken pre-workouts, even pre-workouts at that time. The most popular one was C4. I sold so many C4 pre-workouts when I was at GNC, and I believe it only had 160 milligrams caffeine. And now the standard, like the golden standard across the board with pre-workouts, is the minimum 200. Most of them are having 300 milligrams.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And same thing with the energy drinks, the Bang, the Rain. They're all pushing 300. Even the lower ones like C4, First Form, Celsius, those are all 200. Alani News 200.
The
which is
Monster's
still a
actually
lot.
150.
Yep. And so that's 50% of the max recommendation for an adult. If the max recommendation was 400 or under, typically, you're already hitting just about all of that with just that one Bang or, energy drink. So
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So the risks of this high caffeine, especially in kids and teens, so you kind of touched on it, the elevated heart rate, the tachycardia. So yeah, it's like your people or kids get, there's been like ER visits and stuff like that due to heart issues. Due to that, which I have a statistic somewhere about that. High blood pressure, dizziness, headaches, all that kind of stuff. It's also been linked to ADHD symptoms, higher anxiety and depressive symptoms, increased risk-taking behavior, and even in some correlational studies, suicidal ideation. And there's a study from Finland. Even the occasional energy drink in teens led to a 3 to 10 times higher risk of poor sleep, poor self-related health, and other issues.
Mm-hmm. Going into that, I don't know if you guys have heard of half-life. So a drug's half-life is when you take the drug, how long it takes to get to half of its contributing factor and potency. Yeah. So caffeine's half-life is right around 5 to 6 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're taking that at, 12, 2, like it still has an effect in your system when you're about to go to sleep.
It's actually longer in kids too. The half-life is close. It's like 10 hours for kids.
Oh wow!
So like if they have a morning energy drink, like it's still affecting them later. So if they come to the gym and drink one at 5 o'clock, no wonder they're staying up till midnight because they can't go to sleep.
And here's the worst case is, I would say the majority of kids in high school are working out at what time?
Later.
7, 8, 9 p.m.
Yeah.
And they're probably drinking in the rain before that.
Yeah. I used to do that. And then I got to the point where it was like, because I was mowing lawns throughout the day, so I'd get one like mid-morning, and then I'd get one like as we're leaving work, because I used to go to the gym right after work. And then doing that for like so long, eventually I had the opposite effect, where I like the first one might work, but by the second one I was like just having too much caffeine to the point where it was making me more tired. Yeah.
And so what brought you to do that? Was it just what everybody was doing? Was it just normal?
Yeah, partially what everybody was doing. Like people were drinking Bangs and Rains, and I was like, oh, let me try that.
People older than you? Your age?
Both.
Yeah.
Both. I mean, in school. And then if you're working outside, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's good to have that. It feels good to have that energy. Like, it feels like in the moment you're a whole lot more energetic and you're working better. And that's where it all started, too, is like the caffeine was used as like enhancing your workday, like being more productive and being able to work longer hours, right? So it's kind of like this almost like blue collar thing, like, getting energy drinks and drinking coffee throughout the day just to stay awake. It's got this like stigma to it. Like it's just what you do.
Yeah. Well, I know a lot of offices, like they'd have like a coffee pot there and they would like, it'd be going all day.
All day. Yeah.
And like, that's like a, big offices, anything, small offices, anything. It's just like coffees all the time.
Yeah.
But now with like the energy drinks, it's, at least if you had hot coffee all the time, you'd be like, oh, I don't want to have that in the summertime. But now it's like, you have the fun energy drink, and so it makes
and they taste phenomenal.
And they taste phenomenal.
I can't tell you how many times I've gone into Speedy Q like in the last month since summer started, and I'll go in there and get a energy drink, calling myself out. But I'll see these guys walking, getting ready to go to work, and they'll come out with 2 Red Bulls and like 2 Powerades, like getting prepping for the day.
Yep.
Yeah.
We say it's some Powerades.
Yeah.
I guess.
Red Bull is actually one of the lower caffeine contents.
Yeah. It's only like
So most, like the
80 to
are
100.
they 12 ounces?
Yeah, those are like
might be
100.
less.
and
They're really
120.
skinny,
They are. Yeah.
but they're only 80 milligrams.
Right. So if they have 2 of those, it's only 160. That's not even as much as an
There's got to be something else in there because Red Bull definitely freaking
gives you something.
Gives you
Probably
wings.
cocaine or something. I don't know.
there's something else in there. Or they're lying about their caffeine, their potency can be. And here's another just fact about energy drinks and these kids, especially when it comes to working out. So when you drink a energy drink for a workout, thinking, because a lot of them are advertised as like pre-workouts because they've got creatine and amino acids, which it's like so microdosed that it will literally has zero benefit whatsoever.
Yeah.
The recommended amount of amino acids to be effective is like 5 grams, maybe up to 10 grams a day, and this will have like 500 milligrams, which is like 10 times less than the recommended amount. Same with the creatine. You have 5-gram dose of creatine to have its effect that you want.
Mm-hmm.
It's maybe you got 100 milligrams to 500 milligrams in there. So it's on there as marketing. It's got amino acids, it's got electrolytes, it's got creatine. Oh, it's a great pre-workout. All you're really getting is caffeine, and caffeine is a vasoconstrictor. So your blood flow is actually less than what it would be without the caffeine. And for a workout, you want increased blood flow to have a better workout. So although you're more focused mentally and you might feel more energized, it's actually going to hurt your workout and it's going to elevate your heart rate. So even if you're just doing bodybuilding and stuff, your heart rate's going to be elevated and pumping faster because of that vasoconstriction. It's trying to get the blood pumping. And if you're doing a Metcon or something or going for a run, that's where the heart rate's like people are like, oh man, my chest hurts, my heart's just pumping out of my chest. And that's where it can be dangerous in my opinion.
Yeah, it can be counterproductive.
Yeah, and that's why pre-workout powders, which I do use pre-workout powders, they do have caffeine, but they also have L-citrulline, L-arginine, and other ingredients that help promote blood flow. So you get the mental focus plus the blood flow. That's, if you're going to do a pre-workout, like do a real pre-workout. Don't drink a Monster and then go work out, in my opinion. It's not going to help you get a better workout.
And use it appropriately too. Don't just like drink it in the middle of the day because you're feeling a little tired, right?
Yeah.
There's other options to.
Speaking of like the half-life and everything, if you are going to use caffeine, obviously stay under the recommended doses, which to review, less than 100 milligrams for teenagers.
And then 200 to 400 milligrams a day for adults.
But try to keep that before noon, like in the morning only. Try to have a cutoff time at least 6 to 8 hours before you plan on going to bed. Probably.
Yeah, for sure. The earlier the better in general. But
What's next?
Well, I wanted to touch on a couple of other things because it was shocking for me. So some more issues on what caffeine does is it can possibly interfere with brain development, particularly the prefrontal cortex. So that's the part that's, decision making and, weighing consequences and maturity, that can be impacted from caffeine use. So it's like if it feels like it's taking kids a while to mature, then the caffeine can actually have an impact on that too.
Wow.
And then ER visits from energy drink complications are rising, with over 1,400 visits annually from youth alone. So it's a lot of, like, I know there's a big thing, the lemonade from Panera.
Yeah.
Used to have it was like 300 milligrams caffeine or something in there, and they had like other stuff in there too. But it was some sort of like energy lemonade or something.
Yeah, it was lemonade.
Yeah.
There's a big problem behind that.
Wow.
And somebody drank one of those or 2 of those or something, and then they got hospitalized, or maybe they died actually. I don't know.
Yeah.
I actually just read an article about
Something happened.
a teenage girl that died from too many energy drinks. I think she had a heart attack or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's on Facebook, but
So it's just like we're not built for that. It's just way too excessive.
And your heart's just working too hard all the time.
Yes.
It's tired.
So another part to talk about, let's see if it lines up with yours. like why it's on the rise, and like are adults impacting that? So obviously, like through social media, gaming, seeing other people, like like you said, work, like other people are doing it at work. So then you're like, oh, I'm gonna do this too. It's a lot more socially acceptable than some other quote unquote drugs. There's a lot of more marketing tactics used that target teens, like the flavors. Like a lot of kids don't like coffee, or like black coffee, right? And it's like, okay, yeah, you have your iced coffee or something like that, but that doesn't have as much caffeine. You get blue raspberry, or you get these like cotton candy flavors, or white gummy bear, Sour Patch Kids. Like you get all those fun flavors, and like teens are gonna want those.
I actually specifically remember being in high school with me and my buddies, and we play a lot of Call of Duty. And we'd go down to South Side, and they'd have those Kickstarts, Mountain Dew Kickstarts, with like Call of Duty or Halo characters right on it.
Mm-hmm.
So the marketing, they're literally marketing toward kids that play games because you are more focused and dialed in, and you can game better, right?
Oh yeah.
And a lot of the like social media influencers that kids follow, they promote different.
They're probably
Yeah.
sponsored, and they get paid by
Yeah.
these companies. Yeah.
Or athletes,
Yeah.
by like
I mean,
Red
think
Bull
about
or Rain or
Red Bull sponsors, and the thing is with the Red Bull is they're sponsoring like crazy athletes.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like world class.
Yeah. A lot of them are like in the racing realm,
Yeah.
with like mountain bikes,
Like
dirt
adventure
bikes,
sports.
NASCAR, like adventure sports. Yeah.
Mhm.
And Monster's the same way, big with like monster trucks and Supercross and stuff like
Mhm.
that. Monster, but yeah,
Another thing to talk about is like adults' role. If obviously caffeine is socially accepted, it's very marketed, and most adults use caffeine in their day-to-day lives. And so kids will see energy drinks as a rite of passage of being like a grown-up, which I did, absolutely. Like I was like, yeah, I want to drink coffee in the morning because that's like my adult thing, which I really didn't start doing that till I was maybe 15. I'd have like a little cup of coffee in the morning.
yeah.
So it was maybe 80 milligrams of caffeine. So again, still under the safe limit, but it just, kids see it as like, oh yeah, it's like a cool thing to do.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, and it's really not that far off from nicotine. Nicotine's another stimulant.
Mm-hmm.
So if a parent was chewing, smoking, vaping, or using pouches, and then their kid sees that and, oh, I'm going to do pouches too, like you would never allow that to happen if the kid was 14 years old. Like, there's no way that you're like, oh yeah, here, you can have a pouch or a vape. Like, obviously some kids are doing it, but it's probably behind their parents' backs most of the time, right? So like, why are you letting your 14-year-old kid have a freaking 300 milligram energy drink? I mean, it says right on the can, 18 or older to even buy it in a store.
Yeah.
But again, it could be they don't know.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why it's scary.
Yeah.
And there's really
It's not that far
They can go
off.
to the store and buy it.
Yeah.
Because it's,
But you got to be 18 to buy tobacco. You got to
Yeah.
be 18 to buy.
I was gonna say there's no laws about it, so I
Yeah.
can go in,
Yeah.
or any kid can go in.
Technically, they're supposed to be.
Yes, it's
You
supposed
should
to
be ID'd to buy an energy drink.
Yeah, but nobody thinks about doing
Right.
that. So
Yeah.
you're
It's kind of-
correct. It's like the same thing as buying a nicotine package or a pouch and caffeine drinks.
Yep.
They're still both drugs
Yeah.
that you can get addicted to.
Caffeine's probably one of the.
It's
other
the-
than sugar. It's probably the second most addictive thing that we use every day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
I remember learning too once there's a chemical inside of caffeine that naturally like forces your body to like it. That, like anything with caffeine in it, like something within caffeine itself, like slowly adapts to your body and you start to like it the more you drink it. So like coffee, like people usually don't like it when they first start drinking it, right? They kind of like force themselves to drink it, and then they turn out really liking it.
Same thing with alcohol.
Oh, well,
First drink of alcohol. You
yeah,
probably don't
same with
like
like
it either.
dark chocolate, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's interesting.
Yeah. It's
I
gotta
can't
be
remember what
something
the
with the
chemical
brain.
is, but
I think it's something with like, you don't like the taste initially, but then you get the feeling
Yeah,
from it,
fact,
and then you get that like.
well, there's actually not even
reward.
just the feeling.
There's, like,
There's
a
actually
compound thing.
something working in there. Yeah, I wish I could remember.
Something with the brain, yeah, for
Yes,
sure. I can definitely see that because you got the receptors that release the dopamine and the
Yeah.
the those endorphins that make you feel good and stuff like that.
Yeah, so basically what caffeine does, I've had a class about it in school. And so you intake caffeine, it'll block adenosine receptors, and adenosine receptors help stimulate sleep. That's a big one. But they'll also increase the adrenaline and norepinephrine. So obviously that causes increased heart rate.
You're kind of in like a fight or flight,
Yep.
a little higher state
Yep.
all day. That's where the increase in anxiety probably comes from.
Yeah.
I'm assuming, especially
Oh,
with
for
kids.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, your sympathetic nervous system constantly being activated.
Okay. What else we got? Recommendations?
Yes, recommendations.
What can kids do instead of energy drinks?
Making sure you're hydrated first, because dehydration leads to low energy. So
Electrolytes.
electrolytes, water, even
And-
like a no sugar Gatorade or something is better than an energy drink, obviously.
Caffeine
Even a
drinks-
sugar Gatorade is better than that for
Fair
teenagers,
enough. Yeah,
for sure.
for teenagers.
Caffeine drinks are a diuretic. So
Yeah.
And an appetite suppressant.
Yes.
Yeah.
Make sure to prioritize sleep. For teens, it's recommended 8 to 10 hours of sleep.
Which that's a double-edged sword because if you're drinking caffeine, you're getting crappy
Bad
sleep.
sleep or less sleep, and then you're like, well, now I need the caffeine for
Yeah.
the energy, but then you can't sleep.
Same
and
thing
then
with
it's-
adults too. That's,
Yeah.
that's the
Cycles.
endless cycle.
You're
Um,
caught in the hamster wheel.
Yeah. And then make sure to eat balanced meals, especially breakfast with protein to help start off the day without like a blood sugar spike and crash.
That's probably another big thing is like kids eat cereal or don't eat anything or
Pop-Tarts.
Pop-Tarts and stuff, and then they crash. I did cereal every morning, and then I crash first hour and literally fall asleep.
Make sure to get morning sunlight exposure, like 10 minutes of that is great. Physical activity, movement breaks, using something like herbal teas or decaf options. And then, like, what you can do, especially, for adults or for kids, is just, like, have it, one day on, one day off. So that way you don't get the adaptive effects or you become dependent on it.
And understand that these drinks are not designed to be drank multiple day. Like, so
Nope.
The worst case, like
Don't
at
do
least take away that okay, I shouldn't be drinking 2 to 3 of these a day. Like, if you are gonna have one, stick to one. Even with the electrolyte drinks, there's become a problem with too much potassium. So like Prime actually has a lot of electrolytes in there. It's got a pretty high, I think it's 800 milligrams or something of potassium. And then these little kids will drink 3 or 4 of them because they taste fantastic. And then I don't know what happens when you have too much potassium, but it's not good. People are getting hospitalized because of it.
Not good.
So obviously I would recommend, okay, instead of an energy drink, have some sort of electrolyte drink if you want something with flavor, but you can't drink 3 or 4 or 5 a day. Like, you got to understand that there's limits and recommended daily amounts of certain ingredients. So it's like, okay, replace it with one. I would personally recommend like an electrolyte powder. That way you can mix it to whatever amount of water you want. So I'll put electrolyte powder like Relight, Element, things like that with 24 ounces of water as opposed to, have you guys ever had Prime or?
Mhm.
I have not, no.
They're fantastic.
yeah, they're really
You
good.
could literally chug it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, it's like a
the
sports
taste-
drink, right?
It's a sport. It's just
Sports
kind of like Gatorade, but I
Yeah.
don't think it's got any sugar and it's
Mhm.
more electrolytes.
It's a coconut water base.
Oh,
It sounds delicious.
that's probably where it gets most of its electrolytes, huh?
Could be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Another like quick tip is just like doing cold exposure or like using music or breath work to help with like natural dopamine regulation. 'Cause that's where you do get a boost of dopamine from the caffeine. And that's where it can get like, addictive and you feel good and all that kind of stuff. So using other things to replace that for energy, like taking a cold shower in the morning, like that gets you going.
Oh yeah. Remember we used to get out of those cold tubs and
You're just
Yeah.
you're just like
energized.
invigorated.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Okay. I mean, big takeaways is we're not trying to demonize caffeine.
I mean, we all drink
Yeah.
energy drinks.
We all do.
Just like they say, everything's okay in moderation.
Yeah,
right?
it's
Yeah.
just I've really tried to dial it into where all my caffeine intake is in the morning.
Yeah.
Try to kind of cut it by noon. I go to bed really early, so obviously
Yeah, you
cutting
gotta
it
stop
by
early.